Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video we're going to show you how to manually install WordPress using an FTP client, in this case Filezilla. So let's get started. My name is Steve with majorinwp.com, and before we begin we're going to need to get an FTP client. And we're going to use a free solution called Filezilla. But first off, a little bit of background. What is FTP? Well, technically it stands for File Transfer Protocol. And it does just that. It transfers files from your computer to your web hosting server, and consequently from your web hosting server back down to your computer. So why do you need it? Well, you don't really need it unless your hosting doesn't have a one-click WordPress install. Or maybe you just want a fresh, clean install of WordPress without going through your hosting. But you're only going to need it for the installation of WordPress. You won't need it again for any day-to-day uses of your WordPress or your site, any kind of customizations or anything like that. So where do you get it? I did a quick search here in Google for Filezilla, and you can go to them directly. And if you do, you want to download the client. Or you can go to SourceForge, and we'll look over here to see how popular it is. Over 42,000 downloads just this week. It's just been recently updated as of this video, so they keep it up to date. And it's the FTP client that I use the most. So let's get it downloaded and installed. Okay, so if you've decided to use Filezilla, this is what it looks like when you download and install it. And if you're using something else, it should look rather similar. Now all we have to do is connect your FTP client here to your server. So we're going to go into your hosting. Mine is cPanel through SiteGround. So underneath my submenu called Files, I'm going to find an icon that says FTP Accounts. We're going to click on this, and then you have a couple options. If you have multiple domains that you use, you can FTP into your main domain, and it will show you every single add-on domain you have also. So you can just log into one FTP client and choose between all your domain names. Now I don't particularly do that because I'm not particularly that smooth, so I end up loading files to domain names that I really shouldn't be loading files to. So I have an FTP account for each subdomain that I have. But anyway, however you do it, find the domain name over here in this column that you want to use. And then you want to click on Configure FTP Client. Now again, you've got two choices. You can do it manually. You can have your username and your server and your FTP port number here. You can go back to Filezilla and you put your host, your username, your password, and your port, and hit Quick Connect, and you're done. Now to keep it a little bit easier, you can go right down here where it says Filezilla for Windows, FTP configuration file, and click on it, and it will download an XML file. Then all you have to do is go back to your Filezilla, click File, Import, and then navigate to wherever you downloaded that XML file to, hit Open, and it will automatically go through and set all the settings for you. So when you do that, you can go over here to the Site Manager, you click this little down arrow, and there is where your server is set up. So now we're ready for the FTP client. Let's head on over and download WordPress. So we'll head over to WordPress.org. We're going to get WordPress. And then right in the middle, we're going to download the latest version of WordPress. As of this video, it's 4.9.8. And let it download. And then once it's done, we're going to open it. I'll bring it up here. And then this is the file we want, so we want to drag that. I'm just going to drag it to my desktop. and let it extract it. And now we don't need this anymore. Go back to Filezilla. I'm going to connect to the demo site. I'll get my password here real quick. And there we are, ready to go. Now you may not have this index.html file right here. I just put that in there so it wouldn't show the 403 error. I was doing some speed testing. So I'm going to delete that. Now this box right here is live, your server, what you have on it right now. So anything you delete off there is going to immediately delete it off your website. So be careful what you're doing. But I know I don't want it there anymore. So we're going to just highlight it and click delete. And now we're going to go to where I downloaded that file from. Might have to hit a refresh button up here. Yep. And then there it is. We're going to double click on that. And these are all the files that you need to go for your WordPress site. So we're going to highlight them all right here. And then I'm just going to drag them over here and drop them. And it really doesn't take long for everything to get pulled over there. And then we'll go to the site and see what it looks like. Okay, as you can see, it's done transferring over. So let's see what we have. Ta-da, we have WordPress, but we're not quite ready yet. To complete the installation, we have to set up a database. So let's head back over to cPanel when you're web hosting. Under mine, it's under databases, and you can go and click on MySQL database. Okay, and there's three things we got to do here, and you're going to have to copy and paste what you do because you're going to need it a little bit later. So first we need to create a database name. So you can type any name in here that you want and click create database. And then copy that database name somewhere so we can use it later. And then when we scroll down, we got to create a user. And again, you can use any username you want right here and the password. And you want to copy your username and your password somewhere so we can use it later. Then create user. And then the last thing you want to do is find the user in this drop down box and then find the database that you just created in this drop down box and click add. And now one last thing before we go, you're going to have a little prefix to your username and your database name. It's something that your hosting will have in there. It'll be something underscore and then your name and something underscore then your database name. You need that something underscore prefix. So make sure you copy that as well. And then the next thing that's going to pop up is what kind of privileges that you want to give the user to the database. Now, since this is you and this is the admin, you can click all privileges. And I'll show you that in just a second. And let me go ahead and create this database and username, and I'll be right back. Okay, and this is what I'm talking about right now. And you can click whichever ones you want. I'm going to click all privileges and then make changes. And now we're completely done. Now we're ready to complete our installation of WordPress. So let's head back over to the browser. Okay, here we are back at our WordPress installation, and we should have everything done that we need done to make this work. So let's get started. First, pick the language that you want to use. Hit continue. And here it gives you a little precursor of what you need. We need the database name, including the prefix, the database username, including your prefix, and the database host and the table prefix, which I'll tell you about when we get to that page. Now what WordPress will do is going to take that information and create a wp-config.php file. So let's get started. So here we're going to make a copy of the database name that we created. We're going to use the database username we created. Put the password in that we created. And now, the majority of the time, you're going to leave localhost just the way it is. If for some reason it doesn't work, then go to your web host and ask them what you should put there. But like I said, the majority of the time, localhost is going to work perfectly. Now your table prefix, you get a lot of information out there whether you should change this or whether you should keep it for security reasons. And you can also run multiple versions of WordPress off the same database by changing the table prefix. But as far as security goes, if somebody's hacked your site and have already gotten into your database, trust me, they're only a few clicks away from figuring out what table prefix you use no matter what you put here. So I'll leave mine the same. We'll hit submit. Now we have communicated with our web host and we have connected to our database. So let's run the installation. So here it wants a little bit of information. What your site title is going to be. And you can change that later if you decide that you want to change it. This is the username to log into your admin. I'll put that for now. Trust me, I will change it as soon as this video is done. We're going to put in a password here. We're going to put in our email address. And then you're going to want to hit install WordPress. Now I'm going to click this because this is my demo site and I really don't want Google indexing any of my demoing and testing and that kind of stuff. So install. And it was that easy. So I'm going to copy this username, make sure I get it right. And we're going to log in to the back end. Oh, let's take out that space. And log in. There you go. A successful installation of WordPress, and you did it all manually. So, in the next video, I'm going to go over what each of these menu items mean on the left-hand side, and some settings that should be pretty standard for your WordPress installation. It helps with some SEO, it helps with URLs. Show you how to do themes and plugins, how to make posts and pages and that kind of stuff, how to update images. So if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe and click the like button below. And until next time, see ya.